Okay. All right. Now, sorry, Robin, what were you saying?
Do you scoop or do you just take it down and up?
I scoop. So my stroke is to pick it up is like that.
Ah,
So
okay.
it's sort of a scoop. Yeah. Good question. And that lets me get for this for this stroke and most of my strokes. There's a couple where we'll do it differently, but that gives me a lot of paint on my knife. So,
Okay.
which is what I want you guys to be able to feel here. And then if you've made them all going in one direction like I have, try making some going in the other direction. You'll find that you have a preferred direction. I want you to, I'd like you to, as you're doing this, don't don't have a death grip on your knife. Hold it lightly and make these strokes kind of slowly. Um, kind of slowly. Don't don't go like that. Don't so your stroke is a straight
Oh,
gliding stroke along the surface. It's not a curvy, it's not that. It's just you're putting the flat part of your knife down. Let's see, can I show you any better way? Um, I'll use some pink. You're putting the flat part of your knife down on the surface and pushing it along. So the flat part of your knife for this stroke is parallel to the surface that you're working on. When you get this piece of paper filled up, oh, actually, tell me when you're near to having this filled up because I have something I want to do with you guys on top of this. And we're going to stop in a few minutes and get to know each other a little bit better, but I really just wanted to get us started, if that's okay.
oh, that feels so much better.
Good, good. And Sheila, do you always work with your support that high compared to where you are?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I have
It just, to me, it's a little bit easier
That's fine. I have
to
bad
see if
shoulders
it's,
and couldn't do it there. No, that's great.
Flat, that doesn't matter.
I'm getting there.
Yeah. Robin, what did you say, hon?
Mine's not on an easel, it's flat.
That's fine. Doesn't matter. Yeah, for this. And even tomorrow, I mean a lot of painters just paint flat. I saw a picture
Oh,
of oh Wyatt, one of the Wyatts. This was such a great picture. He was painting outside and he was sitting on the hood of his car and holding his canvas on his hand and just painting. It was great.
wow.
Dogs.
Okay. I'm almost filled up. Do you want us to fill it up? Fill
Well,
up the
just why,
canvas
why
or
don't
what?
you why don't you
Paper?
stop right there because we're going to do something else next
Okay.
on top of this. So, are you
Okay.
feeling a little comfortable with this stroke, Sheila?
Yes. I'm
And
very comfortable.
Robin, are you feeling a little comfortable with this stroke?
Yeah, I'm just looking for a refill. Yes,
All right.
so,
So
straight down.
Now what I want you to do is take the same knife and take a different color. I'm going to take a purple, and I want you to, we're going to go over the color that we have here. And there are lots of things that you can do
Okay.
going over color. The first thing we're going to do is try to go over the bottom color without picking any of it up. And that, when you can master that, and you will not master that today, probably. I mean, you guys may be way faster learners than I am. This took me ages. But when you can do that, you'll be able to go put paint over paint without getting it muddy. So this has partly to do with the angle of your knife, but mostly it has to do with the pressure that you put on it. And it's very little. So again, you're gliding. So here's my purple. I got a lot of purple on here. And I'm going to go over the orange and over the yellow and over and over. And I haven't picked up any paint at all.
Wow.
So I'll do it again. I'm going over the orange
Wow.
and the white. And if you think of your paint as being made of ball bearings, this should help. So don't expect, yeah, this is hard, but it's important. So what am I doing? I'm angling my knife a little bit more than the first time. A little bit more.
Okay. Are you getting as much paint on the back of your knife?
Yes, I am. But whoever was doing that, you're doing it too fast. Whoever was just making that noise, again, it's not a stroke like this. It's a stroke like this, and it's slow. And yes, I am. You can start with less, but sometimes it's easier to do this with more paint. Got it? It's a feel thing. And you keep doing it, you'll feel it at some point along here.
It's like you're tickling it.
Okay, I hadn't thought about it that way, but yes.
Yeah, that works.
And then try doing some going in the opposite direction.
Oh.
Your unfriendly direction. Go in the direction that's not your natural direction. Much harder.
So, okay.
Oh, now you've got it down on the table, Sheila? No. Oh, I see.
I've got my palette.
Getting paint. Yeah, I gotcha. Gotcha. Slow. Right, there you go.
I like that.
Now, while you're doing this, take a lighter color paint, and I'm going to take white because I really want to show you guys this. And I want you to try to pick up some of the wet paint that's underneath. And this is called, all of this is called wet in wet, but mastering the stroke and then the overstroke and then the pickup stroke are really sort of, these are great. These are like your major tools, no matter what knife you're working in, no matter what kind of painting you're doing. So I've got some white and I'm putting it with more force down, and I'm picking up the purple that's underneath it. See what's happening? Isn't that cool?
That is cool.
Yeah. So I'm taking a good amount of paint on my knife. I'm starting on at the top of the thing. I'm pushing harder than I was for my first overlay and pulling down. Down is easier for me. You guys might find up is easier for you, or across, or whatever. But this is when you can get this.
That's cool.
You've got such a cool, yeah. And as you practice with this, you'll learn the combinations that you really love, and in the colors that you really love, and you'll learn what order to put them on. We'll do a lot more of this, but
Okay.
This is sort of at the heart of all of this, those three strokes.
Okay.
Want to fancy it up a little? Curve your stroke, whether you're picking it up or not picking it up. Make a circle.
Are you using the whole knife or just a piece of the knife, like the top part?
I'm using pretty much the top part at this point. If we were
Okay.
working bigger, I'd be using more of it. But yeah, I'm using, yeah, good question. Yeah. And that's like when you use those huge knives, I mean, sort of the point of it is to use the whole
Mhm.
knife, which is the thing I have to keep reminding myself. But I can use a whole tube of paint on one of those big knives. But then I can get, and I remember doing this the first time I did this. I was doing it was a 12 by 48 painting of Quimby Bridge with a great sky in it, and I loaded up that square knife, and I walked literally the length of this 48 inches and made a sky in one stroke. It's great.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really fun. So yeah, good question. So try try loading up your whole knife and see what happens. So here's my whole knife loaded up, and you can go for much longer with it. Make more swirly things if you're into swirly things. That's what you get for more paint, is a longer stroke.
Oh, I like that.
Good.
Okay. I do too.
Good, good. Now, you've got places on your support here where you've got paint over paint over paint. So just for fun, just to see what you can do, take the tip of your knife, whatever knife you're doing, and do you see what I'm doing? I'm just moving the tip through. There we go. And you can do a cross hatch if you want, or you can.
Oh, look at
Whoa!
that.
Yeah. Robin, wonderful.
And the stuff on the end of the brush is wonderful.
Isn't it?
You
Yes.
just sort of dot it on.
Absolutely. And
Ooh,
when for the first 8 years that I painted, I would wipe off like the extra stuff, that stuff at the tip or stuff that I had left over at the end of a painting session, and wipe it off with paper towels and throw it away. Then I began to save it. So see here on my palette, all of this is leftover paint from the last couple days painting. And that is going to make a really cool sky or ground of like many different colors. Random. I wonder if I have any. I don't really have any right here that have that. But that's a really fun thing to do. Leftover paint. And this scratching business with the tip of your knife is great for grasses, or just texture. Let me go get, I want to get something to show you too.
my computer's going to stop. I'm going to switch to the little one, I think. Sorry.
So here's a painting I made of the marsh the other day. And see the grasses?
Oh, that's beautiful.
Thanks. Where they go into the water, the reflections of the grasses in the water, that is just scratching through the purple edge and drawing those scratches down into the water. And it's just what it looked like on that day.
Mm.
Want to see mine?
Ooh,
I don't know if you can see
nice
it.
abstract.
Let me get my earphones in.
Yeah, that's a nice abstract.
Thank you. I thought so too.
There's mine.
Would you also? All right. Let's
That's
see yours.
great. It looks like a forest.
Let's see yours. Oh, great. Oh, they're wonderful. So let's take a little break here for a minute, and we're going to move to a different piece of paper. So Sheila, what kind of paintings do you like to make?
I do. I like to do landscape. I like nature stuff. I don't do it just because I know how to do stuff like that. I usually look at something or have somebody teaching, and I go by what they teach. I'm a show me kind of person, and I can do it if you show me how.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, me too. Me too. That's how I learned to paint, was by watching other people paint. Yeah, and asking them questions.
Have you been painting a lot? Have you been painting a long time?
No, well, by now it's getting there. I'm 64. I started painting when I was 50, kind of out of the blue, and very
Uh-huh.
short. I loved it. I loved it from the moment I started. I loved it, and not many years later, at my husband's suggestion, I quit my job and to make our living
Oh,
painting. Yeah, like yikes. I remember saying to him, I mean, I've been the one that made our money. I said to him, you really think
uh-huh.
that you can live on what I can earn from making and selling paintings? Yes, I do. So that was that. Yeah. So, um, so by now I've been painting for 14 years, which is a long time. And I paint a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. Um, and I experiment a lot. I copy other people. I ask people everything, and they tell me. So yeah, that's that's how
There
I
you
learn.
go.
Yeah, and for both of you, I am not trained. I'm self-taught and taught by other painters, and I have no idea if I paint the right way. I suspect I don't. So, I'm not saying that this is the right way to paint. All I'm saying is this is how I paint. Yeah. And Robin, what kind of paintings do you like to make?
I'm finding I like this.
Yay.
I usually work in oils.
Uh-huh.
I've painted for a pretty long time, sporadically. I'll go through phases where I paint, and then I'll go through 6 or 8 years where I don't paint anything.
And you kind of like to do people mostly, don't you?
I do like to do people. I'm not very good at landscapes at all. I find people fascinating, and they never look
Ooh,
portraits. They never look like the people.
Right. Neither do my portraits. I'm kind of happy that they look like people who could maybe walk, you know. So, um, one thing I'm going to ask you at the end of this today is what kind of painting you want to make tomorrow. So be thinking of that, both of you. Okay. I have some ideas.
okay.
So, all right.
Okay.
Let's take a new piece of whatever it is you're using. You can save your masterpiece if you want to or not. I'm not saving mine. And now I want to build a little these basic strokes. And I'm going to use the same knife because it's my favorite knife, but if you want to use a different one, go ahead. So one thing that I do a lot is I do skies that are sort of a patchwork of colors. And so I will take the first stroke that I showed you, just like that. And then I'll go like that, and then like that, and then like that. So each stroke, and I'll put some white on here to outline it for you. Each stroke is a slightly different angle, and you build this really cool sky or forest, or for me, this works best for a solid area, although I have been doing it on my bird paintings lately. So take a color okay, so when I do two colors, so there's a blue, and then I just dip into the white and put the white on top of it. So I got a lot of paint on here. And it's a stroke like that, and then like that, and then like that, however you want. There's no correct angle. Again, hold your knife lightly and see a kind of baskety thing that you'll get. Questions, Sheila?
We're still parallel to the canvas.
Yeah.
Yes, you're using the back of your knife, and you're doing it not very fast, and right, your stroke is, you can see the whole top of my knife. you know, you gals, you girls, you guys are going to develop your own strokes. Um, and you know, maybe yours will be more angled. What I love about this is the edges that you get to see and where they overlap.
Oh,
I love that, and it picks up the light. Um, you can do you can start with one color and then go over it. Either open like that, close, go over it with a different color. You can make your strokes different lengths. Different, you know, some can be really long, some can be short. My sky strokes tend to be smaller near the horizon and bigger near the front, but not always. Well, there is nothing going on in Wachapreague today. Yikes. I mean, absolutely nothing.
Does the light go on top of the dark or does the dark go on top of the light
Well,
when you do the two different colors?
you can do it either way. And what you want to think of is that the one that goes on last is the one that's going to show up first. Because think about how, right? So here is blue on the bottom and white on the top, all right?
Mhm.
White, 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 blue. And then it mixes.
Ah,
Is white on the bottom and blue on the top. White, 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 white. There. Different. Did I do it different?
ah,
Yeah. I guess it's a little bit the same, but and you know, that's not 100%, but basically the one that you put on last is going to show up first. And so when you get a really great combination, let's see if I can remember this one. This is a bright pink with a cadmium yellow in it. And look at this. This is so cool. Isn't that cool? So that's pink on the bottom and yellow on the top.
oh, that's pretty.
Yeah, isn't that
Mhm.
pretty? So the yellow shows up first because it was on the top, and the pink comes out at the bottom of the stroke because it was on the bottom. Because you're using up all of that top paint and then going into all of that bottom.
oh, shoot.
But that's a great question. And that is why you need to pay attention to what you're doing while you're doing it, which I often don't do. I get into a kind of painting mode where it's sort of me and God and the canvas, and the world goes away, and I sort of feel like really it's Miss Universe working through me.
Ah,
And sometimes I don't pay any attention at all, and then I can't remember what what combinations I use. Ay, ay, ay. Or worse, I go over something that's like so beautiful and perfect, but I'm moving so fast and I'm not paying enough attention, and then all of a sudden it's gone because
Oh,
oh yeah, countless times. So did that answer you, Sheila?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
You will practice all of this. So did both of you start with sort of blue or not?
mm-hmm. Yeah, blue and yellow.
So just
I've got purple.
that's fine. So, but imagine that this is sky. Oh, nice. Oh, it's gorgeous. Robin, let's see yours.
May I see?
Yeah, show it again, Sheila.
May I see it, Sheila?
Show it again.
Wow, yeah. Mine's
Very tie-dye. Oh, lovely. All right. So now take some white on your knife. We're going to make some clouds, some happy little clouds in memory of Bob Ross. So just take some white on your knife, and you're going to go over your purple or your sky or whatever without picking it up. So same stroke we did before.
okay.
Okay, and do it in sort of a, a longish line. Oh, I picked some of it up, which is okay. But this is a cloud. This is a happy little cloud. And I mean, this makes really great clouds in your sky. Doesn't it? You can make them as complicated as you want.
May I ask you a question?
You may ask anything. You guys
Okay, I've made my one cloud and there's a huge mass of white paint over here.
Yeah.
And what I want to do is take it and reuse it. We don't do that, do we?
Well, if you want to, you can. But, if you're doing that because you're being stingy, don't do it. What I would say
I don't
is,
like it, it's too thick.
okay, first of all, there's probably really nothing, there too thick kind of doesn't exist in this world. But what you might want to do, okay, I'm going to just put a big slab of white on here, all right? Instead of scraping it off to use again, just go with it. So put your knife on it and increase the size, make your cloud bigger or make a different cloud or
Okay,
so use it.
I think that was my question.
Okay. All right. You can use it, but I will tell you that people love big gobs of paint on the paintings,
Okay.
and you will love it. You will get to the point where you love it and you'll say, oh, look how free I was with the paint. And really buy paint that's on sale. What's her name? Was Ann Holland's thing? Was it last weekend?
I think so, yeah. Did you go?
I did not go.
I was busy.
Yeah. But when if you're at a yard sale or if you're at a store and there are closeout items or there's paint on clearance or somebody is selling paint or better yet, giving paint away, just get it. Get it as cheap as you can get it. And then you can use it then you won't feel bad when you use it in giant, thick blobs. You won't feel like you're wasting anything. And it will get you accustomed to leaving big hunks of paint on the canvas and finding out how it works. I have not ever had any problem with the oil paint cracking.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I haven't had any problem with the oil paint cracking, even if I leave blobs of it on. So, yeah. Another approach to sky is to do, and I do have some of these here, to do what I like to call a swirly sky, which is, you know, kind of what we did a little bit on the last piece of paper. So you take whatever colors you want for your sky, right? I've got, you know what? I'm not going to use blue and white because I've been using that. I'm going to use yellow and white and green, putting 3 on here. So you just take your knife and you make a swirly sky, however you like your swirls. Yellow, white, and just put a lot of paint on your knife. And make a pretty, you know, are there really swirly skies? Not really, but I mean, sort of. But nobody can ever come along and say, oh, the sky didn't look like that. You could, because you will say, oh yeah, prove it. Prove that the sky didn't look like that. And also, you know, we're making art. We're not making photographs here. I think it's up to us to make the worlds that we want.
Now, when you did the swirls, did you use the whole flat part of the knife, or did you just use the edge?
No, I'm using pretty much the whole flat part of the knife. I'm going to go with a little bigger knife here to show you guys. Here are some of my leftover colors. So I have a lot of paint on here. See how much? That's how much paint I have. Big hunk.
Wow. Okay.
And I'm putting the knife. See, I guess I'm angling it a little bit. Yeah, it's a little bit more angled than on just the strokes. Then it's flattening out as I get down near the end of my paint load. Yeah, so it's angled a little bit at the start, and then it gets wider. Yeah. And you can do swirly water, you can do swirly land. I tend to mostly do swirly skies. And people, well, that I know say sometimes that their real criticism of my painting is my skies are too complicated, or they're too distracting. There's too much going on in them. I guess I don't really care. You love the swirly skies. And these are great for thunderstorms. Oh my goodness, we have thunderstorms coming in and swirl some gray or purple onto a blue sky. It's so fun.
Since we're so limited here, Carrie, have you ever tried any of the Walmart paints?
You know, I haven't. Do they have oil paints there?
They used to.
Huh. No, I haven't. But you know, where we used to live in Connecticut, there was a place called Job Lot, which is like, you know, Walmart, but down to, well, it's like Rose's, and they had great cheap oil paints. So I usually order my stuff online from Jerry's Artorama, or if I'm going to, you know, down to across the bay, I'll go to the store there, which is on Virginia Beach Boulevard. It's not the greatest Jerry's Artorama, but it's okay. But I would say, you know, if Walmart has decent prices on paint.
I was just thinking for tomorrow's class, I need to get a yellow. I'd like to get a yellow.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Give it a try, or come on over here and I'll give you a yellow.
You're
I
adorable.
have a lot of yellow.
If you'll let me purchase it.
You know, you can purchase it, or I'll give you a half-used tube.
Okay.
But I mean, really, I have a whole box of yellow paint. My favorite yellow, which I don't think I'll give you, although I might have a small tube of it around somewhere. My favorite yellow is this, which is Georgian Daler Rowney cadmium yellow, and it's not very expensive. And I buy the big tubes of paint.
Georgian cadmium. I like cadmium yellow.
Yeah. So
Is it
here's a
yellow?
regular size tube of paint. Here's the size I buy, and I would encourage you guys to buy this because this is like $8 for this size, and this is like $12. So $8, $12. Buy the big one.
Is that just a cadmium medium?
It's a deep cadmium yellow deep hue. So it's not, real cadmium yellow. It's a hue, and it mixes very well with white without getting without like losing its edge. I just love it. It's glowing. It's my favorite yellow.
I have to order some.
Yeah.
Are we still doing sky?
Are y'all comfortable where you are? Because I got another cool stroke to show you.
Yeah, I'm okay, I think. I think I've,
You got the sense, you got the feeling of some sky. Sheila, how about you?
Mhm.
a little bit.
I'm think I'm pretty good.
Great. Can I see?
I think I'm pretty good.
Show them. See your purple sky. Oh, great. Oh, great, you two. Wow, those are fabulous.
Not much sky though.
Yeah, but wonderful swirls. But it's the stroke. It's, I just use this for sky. Okay, so get a different paper, and I'm going to show you some slightly more complicated strokes. Yeah. Is this a painting? This is almost a painting. Isn't it? Like it's almost a painting. You turn it sideways.
Yeah, so look like
Almost a painting.
bunny rabbit on the side.
Okay, so
Yeah.
this stroke, this is a great stroke. This is really fun, and I use it for a lot of things, but we'll get to what we use it for later. So what you want is two highly contrasting colors. So I am going to take yellow and purple. So I put a little bit of yellow on first, and then some purple. And I want you to, I'm going to wait till you're both ready because I want you to watch me while I'm doing this. Okay.
Watching.
So you're gonna move your knife up and down while you're moving your arm down. Okay. Let's see. I'll try purple and white. That might be better. So you move your knife, you move your hand up and down while you're moving your arm toward the ground. You get what I'm doing there?
Mm-hmm.
And you get this way cool marbling thing going on.
Which color did you touch first?
I don't remember. So let's let me do it again. Okay, so I'm going to take a dark green on the bottom and yellow on the top, and my knife is pretty flat. Well, it's harder to do this on paper than it is on canvas. That's interesting. So yellow. So dark green on the bottom, yellow on top. So the yellow comes out a little bit first, and then the dark green. I have a lot more dark green on.
Ooh,
One of you just got it, huh?
Is that, it kind of looks like a rainbow?
Yeah, so hold it up a little bit. Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That was a phthalo blue. Hmm. And we're doing this flat still, right?
Your knife is pretty, your knife is, yes, it's pretty flat here and you're holding it pretty lightly.
Okay.
I mean, you're using the edge of it a little bit. A little bit. You can make these pointed or curved. It's fun, isn't it, Sheila? When you get it, isn't it fun?
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
it's fun.
I like that.
Me too. And I use this for a lot of things, but I use it for a very specific thing, which I'll show you all in a minute when you've gotten the feeling of it a little bit more. You can use this in the sky. You can use this on dog's hair. It's also great on like for feathers. You know, it has a sort of sense of, it has that little bit of featheriness. It's also great for petals on flowers. But its best application is for water. I'll show you that.
Not enough paint.
Not enough paint. Yeah, it does use up the paint, and that's okay. You can make these tight or loose. And just for abstracts, Robin, you do abstracts sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
This is a great, all of these are great strokes for abstracts.
Okay.
Okay, so I want to show you something here. And that is, I don't know if we're going to paint water tomorrow, but I want to show you something about water. So imagine that that this is a bank. There's a bank right there, bank of, you know, whatever. Well, we'll make it a bank with grass on it. So there's some grass. Okay, so for water, you want to start by always paint water down first. And I'm doing this very roughly. So there's a little bit of grass in the reflection, and then I'm putting some more water down beneath it. And what I'm going to do, let me make the grass a little bit brighter so you can see. So there's our grass going up, and here's our grass coming down, reflection of the grass. All right, so now what I'm going to do is take my knife and a little bit of white, just white, not very much of it. And that stroke that we were just doing, I'm going to bring it like this across the flat surface of the water. So my knife is parallel to the ground. I'm just using the edge of it, but suddenly you've got water. Can you see it? I mean, it's kind of a trick.
Yeah.
I can't see it very well.
Can't see it very well. Well,
If
well,
you could take your painting and hold it just closer to
I will.
the computer.
There we go. Okay, so it's just down in the lower corner. See the grasses? Can make the grasses better for you.
And those are reflections. Okay. Thank you.
Here's your grass.
So you did.
And then a little bit of white I'm going across it. There. Is that a little better? A little more visible?
Mhm.
I mean, imagine it's part of a painting.
Wow.
Yeah. And, you know, maybe we'll paint something with water tomorrow. Maybe we might do that. Because it sort of puts all the strokes together. I think we will. How would that be if we do a sort of March scene tomorrow?
Sure. I'm up for anything.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Sounds good.
Okay. So just, you know, you can practice tonight if you want to, or just think about it, but it's a weird, odd, three-dimensional thing that works with that particular stroke.
Okay.
Now, while we're on this page, we're going to do something now with, we're going to do two things with different parts of the knife. So I want you to, we're going to take a color. I guess I'll just use purple. You want a fairly soft paint. And there are hard paints and soft paints. So take one of your soft paints and take the edge of your knife and drag it somewhat lightly through the paint so that you get, you see that? You get paint on the very edge of your knife.
Mm-hmm.
And then I
Okay.
just use it to make lines.
Glove.
The edge of that knife to make very thin lines. This is really not easy. This really takes practice. You got to get, and it's really harder on paper than it is on canvas. You got to get enough paint on there to make a line, but not so much that you make a blob. There we go. This is great for outlines and for grasses again, and for people's hair and stems of flowers. And I know a painter who makes her trees like that. She takes the edge of her knife, loads it up with paint, and just makes her trees. She doesn't curve her branches or her trunks. She says she uses her trees for excitement. Isn't that interesting? If you have leftover paint on your palette, you can pick it up and do that. Some days you have better luck at this than other days.
And you're holding the knife straight up and down, or?
I'm holding the knife. You know, you have to sort of fiddle with it. I mean, I'm holding the knife so that the edge of it is on the support, but if you turn it a little bit, then you can get more of your paint on it. But if you're going for a thin line, you don't want to turn it very much. Because the more the more of the knife that you get on your canvas or your support, the thicker that line is. You can go up if your shoulders permit. You can also, I've seen some people just take it and press the knife, tap the knife onto the support. I use this stroke a lot when I'm doing landscapes and I have trees in the background. I use the edge of my knife to make just the suggestion of tree trunks. You know how if you're really looking far away, you can see here and there, you can see an actual trunk lighted, you know, with the light hits it. This is probably what I do mostly with this stroke, and also tree branches. Another one I'd like to show you, which only uses part of the knife, is I use this when I'm doing birds or people or sort of more designy sort of things. Just take some paint on the tip of your knife, not much. Well, you can take more. I can take more than that, and make a dot. Just touch your knife, make a dot, make a series of little dots. And I use this to fill in very cranky spots. I use it for animal eyeballs, for human eyeballs. For a while, I did florals, and wherever, like when the petals got too close together to get in between them comfortably, I just put little dots in there. It was really cool. And you can, more paint makes a bigger dot. And so if you start with a bunch of paint and then you want to make your dot smaller and smaller, it sort of happens by itself. And then it gives you a little bit of a pathway into your painting.
My dots keep having peaks.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Peaks are fine. Less paint probably won't have as many peaks, but you know, the peaks are great. They're a texture and little tails.
Okay.
Yeah. Not an and if you really, I do a lot of dog portraits, and this is if you're going to do dog or humans really much, you might want to invest, it's not very much, in one of these, which is a pin tool for that potters use.
Yeah.
And with this, you can make the tiniest of dots. You can't even see that, but those are teeny tiny little, see those, can you see those little tiny little dots way down at the bottom? No, you can't even see them. But they're where the light shines on the eye of a dog or a bird or whatever, this thing can give you that teeny weeny dot, or you can use a thumbtack or a pin. There's other things you can do with
Okay.
it.
I bet an ice pick might work, wouldn't it, Carrie?
It might, yeah. And then also with the tip of the knife, this is sort of self-explanatory. You've probably already done it, but you can just make short little grassy strokes with just the tip of the knife. You can fit them in. You can, or you can use more of the knife and more paint and make longer grasses, for like the front of your taller grasses, and curve your stroke. We haven't done a lot of curved strokes. We did the swirly sky, but trees and limbs and grasses often curve, and you can give the sensation of wind, which is very helpful here on the shore. Somebody's hair blowing, and then you can scratch inside those grasses. fabulous idea for painting we can do tomorrow. Let's see what I can find here. Texas. Texas, where did you go? Waterfall, no. Stream, no. Texas tree, nope. What's the name of that thing? Field, puddle, not puddle. Seagulls and puddle, paint, puddle and field. Okay. Let's see if I can share my screen. Okay. But where did field and puddle go? So what about if tomorrow we paint that?
Oh, ooh, that looks comfortable.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I will email this to you all tomorrow. We probably won't paint the cows. I'll email it to you this afternoon. This has pretty much all of the strokes that we've used today, including some water.
Ah,
Dawn and puddle and field, puddle. Ooh, maybe we'll do that one. No, because the Texas one has a house in it, so that's
yeah, I like the house and the cows.
yeah, I do too. Okay, so stop sharing. So I'll email them to you, and I would think in an hour or two, we should be able to do that. I did that painting in an hour workshop on Facebook earlier in the year, and people did well. We didn't put the cows in. Most people finished. So I would think, especially since we've pretty much done all of those strokes today, that we should be able to get there pretty easily tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, don't bring, and I'm going to be using a black canvas. Sheila, I generally paint on black. And you don't have to paint on white, and Robin, you can paint on white, but I'll probably be using black if that's okay with you guys.
Show the colors better, the lighter ones.
It helps me, yeah, and it helps me see better, and I'm a little bit addicted to it. I'll not admit. Yeah, that's what I like. So, and I would say, don't bring like, if you cannot do something bigger than 5x7, a bigger than 5x7 canvas. It's going to be a little bit easier doing the larger piece. What do you have there, Robin?
Well, this is 8x10, but I've got.
I mean, 8x10 would be fine, and if 5x7 is what you have, Sheila, you feel free to use that. But
and then I have, looks like
11
8x10, 14.
11x14, yeah.
I have a 12x16.
Yeah, I think if you can spare that would probably be good. It's just easier, I think, with a knife to go a little bit bigger than a little bit smaller. Yeah, okay. These are really what we've done today is really, I've showed you pretty much all of my strokes. I'm trying to think if there are any really ones that I use. Really, that's sort of it. You will find your own, you really will. And I would encourage you to experiment, and the more strokes you can master, I think the more interesting your paintings are, potentially, at least. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to go crazy in every single painting using, every single stroke, but, um, well, like I do sometimes. But, but it's good to experiment. And also, with the palette knife, you really learn how colors work and how they work together. Um, I think I know, I have a pretty good handle on yellows, or at least on my yellows and on my blues and on purples. And then, like, I don't know how red works, honestly. I don't. I use very little red, and I need to, that's a thing for me to learn in the future, is red and orange. I have a decent handle on pink because I think basically nobody knows how to use pink. So, but I sort of feel like, I made friends with most of those colors, and with all of the strokes that I showed you, I'm friends with. And you'll make friends with your own colors and your own strokes. So, what questions do you have now?
I have one.
Ask away.
Could you describe, I'm trying to take notes because I'm a visual and I can't remember stuff.
Well, remember, this is tape, so you'll have it.
Hmm?
This is recorded, so you'll.
Oh,
have
that's right, it's recorded, I forgot, yay.
it. Yeah, but that's fine. So what do you want to describe? Robin, what would you like me to describe?
The square up and down, I've got that one. Hover over, scratching. What was, the full blade stroke? That's the one you did for the sky that time, right?
You use full blades for a lot of things, but yeah. So say you don't want the little scratchy bits of things. So look, here's a lot of paint on my knife. See how much there is there? Can you see?
Okay.
All right. So I'm going all the way across with that. There we go. So that is a very different look than the patchwork kind of sky we had. So, so it depends on what kind of sky you have and what kind of painting you have. There are people, there are palette knife painters who use the knife to make very smooth, very quiet paintings. A lot of one that comes to mind is a guy who makes a lot of paintings of boats. And they're in the water and there's fog, and it's one of those situations where the water and the sky are almost exactly the same, and and everything is very still. And he does these with a palette knife, and he probably uses a lot of very long strokes. My technique of these more shorter strokes tends to be louder and a little bit more frantic. And you'll find that different paintings ask for different strokes, and you'll find the ones that you like best. So practice long strokes with lots of paint, and then try short strokes with lots of paint. You'll get little wonderful little blobby bits.
Dots.
Yeah, dots, blobs. Globalism as opposed to pointillism.
Surratt. Eastern Shore Surratt.
Yeah, right. What other questions do you guys have? No? Well, write them down as you come across them, and ask them tomorrow. And I'm available.
I still have
forever.
I still have a lot of paint left on the palette. Can I just leave it? I usually just put a little bit and then keep filling it as I need it. I can just leave it,
Is it oil paint?
or do I need to do something? Yes,
You can just leave it.
it is oil.
Yeah, you can just leave
Okay.
it. if you want to, you know, it's gonna be pretty cool tonight. It should be fine by tomorrow, but you can put it outside if you want to, because it's cooler outside. Now I have this is it's an acrylic paint box, and it has a lid, and then I use a disposable palette in there. So this can help save the paint a little bit. But it should be, especially now, it should be fine till tomorrow. Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
And summertime is more of a problem. And also, because I used to do shows all the time, I sought out oil paint that dried more quickly, water-based oils and faster drying oil.
Mhm.
But now, since I'm not carting wet paintings to shows all the time, I'm back to more or less regular oil paints, which, you know, they're fine there for days on end. Yep, good questions. Good questions, both of you.
Yeah, that is a good question.
What else do we want to know?
Need to practice.
Yeah.
All right.
I feel pretty full of knowledge.
Yeah, an hour of strokes is kind of plenty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, we were all here a little early, so yeah, I'm tired. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah. Concentrating.
That's right, concentrating. And also, I'm starving, and I had lunch right before here. I don't know why painting makes me so hungry, but it does. Okay. So I will email you the Texas puddle painting picture, and
Okay.
then we'll meet tomorrow. I'll be on early again. You know, why not? Whatever. I got nothing.
Okay.
And I love this. So so I'll see you sometime around 1 o'clock tomorrow. And call or text or email if you have questions or problems. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Carrie.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay. Thank
Nice
you.
to see you.
Nice
Sheila,
to see you. Yes. Nice to see you too. And I will send
Yeah,
the report
Sheila.
when I get it. So, okay. Bye, ladies.
Okay. All right.
thanks.
Bye.
Bye. End the meeting.